Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kastuba. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from beautiful Keene, New Hampshire. This is Keene. This is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host Raghunath and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center, New York, Kastuba Das. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to Keene, New Hampshire. We're on a little birthday date. Me and Mara. We're on a birthday date. I'm just exploring, canoeing, hiking a little bit.
Did you go canoeing for real?
This morning.
Look at that. On a lake?
River, lake, we're not sure yet. There's many options here in New Hampshire.
Oh, you haven't done it then?
Haven't done it.
I thought you said this morning. What, are you lying to me right off the bat? What's going on?
I was lying. First thing in the morning. I like to lie first thing in the morning. As soon as I wake up.
I was canoeing this morning. Where did that come from? Why do you have to say that?
You know why? Because sometimes to live in the future, you got to just be convinced you've already done it.
Okay. Sure.
Sometimes you got to create your reality by living into it. How about that?
Okay. All right.
We had a great day. We worked out. We're exhausted.
Oh, I see. You were saying you're going to go canoeing this morning.
Yeah, we're going to go canoeing.
You said this morning, and I thought you meant like you had already done it.
No. It is
going to go this
6 a.m.
Yeah. Like, why are you lying to me about this? Okay.
Yeah,
sounds
so
nice.
It is. It's a nice little road trip.
Are you coming back home tonight?
Yeah, we'll come back. It wasn't that far. It was like 2.5 hours.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Yeah. So, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
I see Mara's shadow over there.
Oh yeah, I see it. I see it.
Silhouette of Mara over there.
Because the sun's rising right now. Oh my God! It's like what happens if she ends up killing somebody or has some information into a murder, and then they just interview her.
It's gonna
they
look
put
just
a
like
warp
that.
thing on her voice. I saw the murder. I saw it there. The anonymous witness protection. Oh, Krishna.
All right, Raghunath. So let's keep this moving.
It's Wednesday. It's Walk on Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, we got Walk on Wednesday.
Walk on Wednesday is the day we bring somebody from our community on, pick their brain a little, tease out their story, and yeah, that's what we do. Any other announcements before you bring her on? Yeah. Oh, she's a real person. She's just
Mara.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have Bhakti Recovery Group meetings today at 1 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. And then also this Sunday, Anu Lawrence is offering a postural yoga class for our Patreon members at 10 a.m.
What's the difference between postural yoga and?
It's like very corrective exercises to correct the balance.
Oh, it's like to help your posture.
But to help
Not
your
like
posture and also like help with any
postures.
pain, if you have any back pain, that sort of thing. Balance.
Kind of a therapeutic thing.
It's very therapeutic.
He's very good. I want to do postural laughing yoga. That's what I want to do.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, my camera's gonna be weird today because I'm noticing right.
I see the shadows climbing up.
The sun is rising. Mara's shadow is getting darker and darker. The sun's going like right in my face right now. It wasn't happening 10 minutes before the show started. but we know that the sun rises at 6 a.m. in Keene, New Hampshire. Okay, let's bring on, it is your favorite of mine, Jivaji from
Jivaji.
Coaching. Welcome to the show, Jivaji. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Look at the professional microphone over here
I know,
too.
you
Because you're a
sound so-
podcaster now. We got to talk about that.
Yeah, we do. It's coming along. It's coming along. And
Maybe
you
we
are
should
due for
start
an
with that.
interview.
I'm down.
And so are you. Both
I'm
of
sorry I
you
haven't
are
gotten
due
back
for-
to you. I've been
No worries.
been
All
caught up.
good. It's all good.
Wait, you're interviewing us separately, or you're interviewing us?
No, I'm going to interview you separately, and then I'll interview you together.
Okay.
Oh,
All right,
okay.
great. Okay. Well, why don't you start off talking about the podcast first? Because that wasn't on the agenda, but I'm just curious about it.
No,
Well,
yeah,
why don't we
is
give just a super brief little thing about
Mhm.
Jivaji here for people that are new, right? The Jivaji,
Yeah.
she heads up our Bhakti recovery group, which is like, how many meetings do you have online per week now?
my God, I think it's like 20, 21.
meetings per week. So it's like, that means
Yeah.
3 per day average.
Pretty much, yeah, average 3.
If I got the
3 per
math correct
day.
on that, that would be
Yeah.
3 per day.
I'm no math major, but I think that's what it is.
But
Um,
a few years back, Jiva has like a history of experience with 12 steps, and she
Yeah.
just kind of helped start up this Bhakti recovery that we do online. It's reaching so many people, and it's really deeply affecting people's lives. It's a 12-step meetings with I guess maybe you can talk a little bit about it, but you kind of adapt them in a particular way. But the common theme is that Bhakti, or Krishna Bhakti, is kind of that higher power that everyone's kind of. Well, you can describe it better than me, but maybe give it just a quick brief thing and then get on to the things that are new and what's happening.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, first of all, the Bhakti Recovery Group is not run just by me. It's run without me now, which is amazing. That was my goal, to have it up, and, it can't be Jivaji Recovery Group. It has to be the Bhakti Recovery Group. We're very much in line with traditional AA. We do things slightly different because we also incorporate the tradition of Bhakti. When we first reconnected, Kastuba, you and I, we talked about
Because we were childhood friends.
We were
And then we went
growing up
about
on the
30 years without seeing each other. And then
yeah.
we reconnected through Bhakti. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Interesting.
we did.
30
Yeah, we
years.
did. 30 years, yeah. I used to drink well, there weren't 40s back then. There were like quarts of beer and Tompkins
In
Square
the paper
Park
bag.
in a paper bag. Yeah, and I knew Kastuba back then. So
She
years
didn't
down
want to
the
say that I was she's
Just Jiva would drink, because Stu would just
yeah,
sit
just
there.
a
and-
drink.
He would he's brought his rocking chair to Tompkins Square Park. He'd just rock there. Listen,
Yeah.
listen.
Yes, always the observer. That's what I always noticed. Kastuba was an observer as well. But generally,
We reconnected, you were saying?
yes, we reconnected, and when we reconnected, I was kind of at this very spiritual bottom in my life. I had been long clean and sober and practicing a 12-step program, and was really looking for a deeper understanding of what God was to me. So I knew that it was always very much aligned. I didn't know much about Bhakti, but I knew that a lot of my beliefs were very much in line with Bhakti. And then when you introduced me and started meeting with me once a week online, I remember everything, and schooling me on everything, it just all kind of, it was like as if it was always meant to be.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, by the way. Just hearing that story is beautiful. Kastuba meeting with you once a week online, old friends, you trying to go deeper, even though you were sort of recovered, you still had this strong spiritual longing.
Yes.
Kastuba extended a hand, you extended yours, your fingers touched, you embraced. That's beautiful.
We had a
I
pillow
love that
fight.
story.
Yeah, no, it was beautiful. It was definitely beautiful. And,
And it was the seed. It was the seed of what we're doing. And let me just share something with you. We were with
Mhm.
Radhanath Swami. When was that? Day before yesterday?
Mhm.
And he was just saying, Jiva, the Bhakti Recovery Group, when she does these little tours, she gives so much shelter to people. The Bhakti Recovery Group gives so much shelter to people. And then he even mentioned some people. He said, if this was around then, those people would be alive.
Right, right.
It
Wow.
was very, very like serious, sanguine, heartfelt.
Oh,
And so what all of you guys are doing in the Bhakti Recovery Group out there, it's very, very impressive and very, very important. So why don't we start off briefly talking about your podcast and then where you're going to be in America on tour.
Okay. Okay, so the podcast is going to be all stories of recovery, actually, not just from drugs and alcohol, not just from substances, not just from codependency, and not just from gambling or whatever it is. It's recovery from trauma, tragedy, people's stories, cancer.
This is going to be great.
I find I was just having actually a conversation with Braja from
Vicky.
Yeah. And we were talking about, the prayers of Queen Kunti, and she gets it, she gets it, and I get it. And
the idea that the tragedies in your life are welcomed because you grow through them.
Yes. Yes. And that is in a way, a very sweet and dark rasa. But it is that rasa that is liberating. And so I find that for me, the people who have the deepest understanding of bhakti, the people who I associate with the most, are the people who have fallen very hard and get that I will be willing to do anything just to have that sweet connection with Krishna. It says in the first step in the 12 and 12, we become willing as only the dying can be. And for me, it's very much that rasa. That's where I have my strongest connection.
Okay.
But anyway, what's
the name of the podcast?
It's just called Bhakti Recovery Podcast. I
Great
renamed
name.
it.
Great name.
And Raghu was like, I hate it. Stop it. You have to change it back again. So I changed it back again.
Oh,
so
you tried something else?
I changed it to the Bhakti Rooms because
I was
sometimes
the generic name. I mean, look at Raghunath, the youth of today. Like he just picked the most generic name possible for that bit.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple.
Yeah, now it's called Youth of Yesterday, right?
Well, I remember when we were coming up with the names for the Bhakti Center. We were all sitting in the big room, and everyone had a million different names, including me. My name was called the Building Super Soul. That was my name. And then we were all, it was a struggle, and it was a little fight for what we're going to call the Bhakti Center. Radhanath Swami walks in, he goes, "How about the Bhakti Center?"
Bhakti Center.
And everyone's like, "Okay, fine."
That's it.
Keep
That's
it
amazing.
simple. It's the center
love
of
it.
Bhakti.
It's so true.
Okay, so anyway,
Stories of
basically,
recovery in this podcast.
Recover is very inspirational. I think
Exactly.
this is going to be huge.
So this is
everybody can relate to that.
So yeah, and this is the thing. It's not just going to be confined to just drugs and alcohol or whatever. It's going to be that huge. It's going to be recovery from everything that we recover from this material world, whatever Krishna throws our way. How we recover, how we deal with those things, how it relates to our lives, how we go forward in that. And that's what the podcast is going to be about. Yeah.
So good. And so your tour in America, you're starting in Florida, Alachua.
Hold slow down.
Yeah.
Is this podcast?
I love you. I love you, Kistiva.
But the point is, we don't know anything about where to find this podcast, when it comes out. Is it out yet? Is it first?
September 7th is the date where it's coming out. The launch is September 7th.
Okay.
And people will find that wherever you find your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all
of that.
Is it YouTube as well?
All of it. So
you can see the video of it on YouTube. Will it be like that?
I'm not sure yet. Katerina's taking care of all that, and I'm actually clinically, technically incapable. So
so
she's
but it'll be widely available where podcasts are
and
available.
We're gonna pump it up, and we're gonna get our community to pump it up too, Jiva. So
all right.
Now, Jiva, where are you gonna be in America? Tell us.
Okay, so I'm gonna start in Alachua. And in Alachua, it's not a retreat. This is truly
northern Florida.
Yeah, it's Alachua. It's a devotee community in Alachua, Florida. And Nam Amrita, who's an amazing devotee down there, he's loving Bhakti Recovery Group. He's the first one to have an in-person meeting. He keeps it up religiously, stellarly. And he wants it, the BRG to be an integral part of the Alachua community.
Cool.
So the thing is,
when are you going there?
excuse me, I just
We need our dates. We need the dates.
it's September 23rd to the 25th. It will be on the same weekend as Radastami.
Oh,
Ooh, great.
So it's going to have a lot of energy. It's going to be a lot of energy down there. And it's not a regular retreat. It will be a BRG convention, info meetings, a couple little workshops. It's more to just get it in place in Alachua.
because there's
Everyone
so
is
many
welcome.
devotees there. You're
Yes.
just putting the word out for everyone.
Absolutely. And anyone wants to come, it is fantastic. You can come. I don't have, it's a convention. So that means it's not a retreat. And that means you can just come and book your own accommodations and come. So yeah. And then the second one will be September 28th to October 1st. And that will be in New Vrindavan. That is in West Virginia.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's a retreat.
Oh no, that's a Super Soul. Sorry. Gosh.
Come on, Jiva,
Rewind.
get it together.
I can't read my own handwriting. So it's a Super Soul, September 28th to October 1st.
It's upstate New York,
and
Raghu's place.
That's at Raghu's place.
Yeah,
I'm doing it with
you.
Raga.
I'm doing it
with
We're doing a
Raghu.
retreat, a Bhakti and recovery retreat at Super Soul. Space is limited. You can go to my link tree or raghunath.yoga to sign up for that ASAP to hold your spot. I'm looking forward to that, Jivan. I'm just looking forward to being with you.
Yeah, me
and
too.
then you're going to New Vrindavan after that?
Then I'm heading off to New Vrindavan, and I'll be
Fantastic.
there from October 5th to October 8th. And that's going to be an amazing immersion. It's going to be a lot more mellow. We're really going to, in this retreat, we're really going to be very much concentrating on the nervous system and toning everything down and getting our breath in order, and a lot of.
Well, you make it sound like the
chanting.
one at Super Soul is going to be a barroom brawl. What are you talking about?
No, but you and I, we're like, yeah, so, and I think this one is just going to be a lot more chill and mellow and just
Ours
very.
is going to be chill and mellow too.
Okay, let's make it that way. I want everybody to.
I have a whole chill side. You
restore.
don't know. Okay.
Nobody
Right, this
knows.
is great.
Who knows?
and
How do
then-
people sign up for any of these treats or find information about them? That's
can
the
go
question.
www.bhaktirecoverygroup.com.
All right,
It's
that's
all on there.
important. That is important.
The Alachua one is not up there yet because I wasn't sure about it being just an in-house Alachua thing, but I just talked to Namamrita and he said, no, everyone is invited. So I will put that up on my website today. And you can find out all that information on there and you can just directly book. I'm trying to do stuff on Instagram. It's difficult because I'm not a technical person. So I'm trying all I can to make it as known as possible. Yeah. So,
Fantastic.
yeah. And then India.
And then finally at our Wisdom of the Sages retreat in India, starting on the 14th of January, she's going to be there. And it's going to be an option if you want to sign up for Bhakti Recovery daily. This is a real powerful thing. Again, a lot of people who aren't into the 12-step program, they'll say, well, you know what? I want to go and just check it out. I don't need it, of course. My life is completely fine and stitched together perfectly. I'm just going to be an outsider looking in for the benefit of them. And then they're like, I totally need this program in my life. And they become addicted to it. They become addicted to the healing of it.
Well, the thing is even if you're in Maya, you have to recover, period. Whether it's a substance, whether it's anything, we're all here in Maya whistling in the dark. Are we not? We're all whistling in the dark. This world is like, we walk around whistling in the dark.
Changing seats on the Titanic.
Whistling in the dark until we are until we hear Krishna's flutes.
Now,
we don't have to whistle anymore.
Karuna's mom's asked this question. Is Bhakti Recovery still relevant for people who know very little about Bhakti? I want to promote it here in Lebanon, but not everyone is familiar with Krishna.
Of course it is.
Can you go to Bhakti Recovery, but not if you know nothing about Krishna?
Yeah, I've already, I've met a couple people in India already who are coming around who have know really little about Bhakti at all, and they're really loving it. So yeah, you just got to be open.
Okay, great.
But
Maybe we can be a little bit more clear too. That what's going on in January in the Eco Village? They need dates for that, right? So that's the
14th through the 26th.
But that's as an optional part of the wisdom training that we're doing.
Sorry if I wasn't so clear about that. So we're doing our wisdom training. We do it every year. It's me, Kastuba, Doyal, and tons of kirtan, tons of bhakti. Kastuba, what are you teaching this year, Kastuba?
I'm teaching, basically, there's a book that's a collection of ancient verses and categorized in all different topics. And I'm just going to choose verses from these different topics and speak on them, and speak on the sources of these, the people and the books that these ancient verses are coming from, just to kind of give a broad.
That's gonna be good.
Yeah. And Doyle will be doing something. He'll be drawing from teachings of Sri Chaitanya to Rupa and Sanatana Goswamis from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So when you put these together, it'll be. I think it's going to be really for people that are like, yeah, I'm into Bhakti, I'm into wisdom of the sages. I've been hearing this for a while. I've learned a lot. But this is going to take you deeper into that tradition. You're going to walk away from it just knowing so much more about it, and hopefully being inspired.
Yeah,
Wow.
and we set it up so if people want to go, they sign up for that, and then if they wanted to go to Bhakti Recovery, they give a donation for Bhakti Recovery. Then they put that as an add-on.
Yeah,
and that supports Jiva coming out there.
And you can get the information on that at wisdomofthesages.com/events, or click on the events thing, and it'll take you there.
And on a side note is we are all going to Mayapur right afterwards. Me and Kasuba are leading a group to Mayapur on a 7-day Mayapur retreat. So a lot of the people who are doing Bhakti Recovery want to go to Mayapur with us, but some people are flying in just to go to Mayapur. They're coming in for the Flower Festival because the Flower Festival rests between the Bhakti Recovery, the wisdom training. And then after the Flower Festival, we're all flying to Calcutta and going to Mayapur together.
But we don't have that up on the website or anything yet.
That's not up.
That's not up yet. No.
That's secret stuff. But
that's
the
secret stuff. I'll be there too.
We got to try to get that up by next week sometime or something like that, I think, right?
Okay. I'm looking forward to that.
So I just want to say thank you. Thank you guys. I can only say that you, I want to say thank you also to everyone who contributes their service in the Bhakti Recovery Group. This is my service. I was meant to do this for the rest of my life. I'm not interested in doing anything else except for serving.
There's something beautiful when somebody knows their service. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And
I think you know,
thank you, everybody. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you. Actually, Nancy's going to do some stuff for Karuna Care, some 12-step stuff for Karuna Care. I want to thank her for that, and thank anyone who's just been stellar in the Bhakti Recovery Group, because without them, there would be none. There would be nothing. So thank you. And you guys are my life saviors. You have saved my spiritual life. I don't know where I would be without you. You're
getting heavy blessings from Radhanath Swami. Just putting that out there, Jiva.
Well, I don't deserve anything. I have no idea. It's just all mercy. I have no idea. But for the grace of God, there I go. I don't know.
You deserve cake, but you're settling for crumbs, my dear. You're doing wonderful. We love you.
Love you. I love you guys so much. Thank you. And I love this community. Thank you all for being here. And I hope we will be together forever, all of us.
That can't happen. Goodbye. We love you. That was almost like an Academy Award acceptance. So I want to thank everybody out there. We love you, Jiva. Okay. Rainam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tatojayam mudirayat. Before we start in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshu badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati utamashloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome in the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Gyana Tamarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksurun Midatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. We are reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 24, Text 26.
No, wrong.
Wrong. We're on a whole new chapter.
Sorry, we're on a whole new chapter because that's not no one's fault, but yeah, that we were bouncing around a bit in these past few chapters because there's a lot of technical information, distances between planets, and all that. We've been taking a multi-chapter journey from the top of the if this universe, what the Vedic cosmology says is that there's like so many universes you can't even count them, right?
Sure. It's like bubbles in the ocean, they say.
Yeah. So then
there's different layers of it. This is very interesting and it's a little confusing because it's otherworldly. So it's confusing too. Well, higher planets, middle planets, subterranean heavens. What? Like, what?
So
planets of snakes.
So if you think, well, we're gonna get to snakes today, right? You're gonna like. So if this planet is like a bubble, then we've been traveling from the top of the bubble, coming down. And each of the different places, hearing from different people, all of them expressing their connection, their appreciation, their devotion to Lord Vishnu in different ways, because it's Lord Vishnu that's permeating this entire universe, supporting this entire universe. He's in every atom of it, and and all of it is in him. It's like, so everyone has this connection to him. We've been coming down, down, down. We started up in the heavens, hearing about these, places of total enjoyment, everything came down. We got into the earthly realm, which is kind of mixed. Then we went down into the subterranean heavenly planets. The enjoyment is big there too, but they have a different attitude, and then and now we're coming kind of to the bottom of it. This chapter and the next chapter kind of like the lower levels. And in this chapter we hear about, if you want to get this to get even more far out, that the entire universe is supported by a multi-headed snake.
What?
Yeah, called Ananta, and it's going to get even a little harder for me to put my. We'll talk about that in a second, and then the last chapter will come next, and that's the hellish planets, like these really
hell is real
dark places. Yeah, it's not they don't call it hell exactly, right? They call it these hellish planets. Like it's not like some place you go forever, like the common Christian presentation of like you don't accept Jesus, you go forever and suffer forever. It's not what's being described here, but it is saying that according to your choices and according to your actions, you can do some traveling and you can go to some places that are very unpleasant, and we're going to hear about those places. But
play silly games, win silly prizes. It's like you
got a lot of cliches today. You got like a cliche for everything.
Well, you make some tragic decisions. You get some tragic result, isn't it?
Yes,
and
true.
So, I never understood that point of Christian theology where if God is love and Jesus loves you, well, why do I have to go to hell eternally? I mean, come on, give me a break, forever and ever. And so I feel like this is a better way to put it. But you know what I feel like? I feel like Christians got a few pages of this. It's going to sound a little arrogant. It's not. I think it's just objective
religious theory.
I mean, what do you know about hell from reading the Bible? You get a few ideas of hell. The Vedas go into the great detail about hellish planets, but they also show that these are impermanent places.
Yeah.
You do some time, like you're doing time in prison.
Yeah, we see that everywhere, right?
Right. And you do some time in, like, we're on vacation in Keene, New Hampshire. We're going to go canoeing. That sounds great. And then there's some disaster, like the boat goes down.
Boats go down all the time.
Boats go down. The canoes go down. We're struggling. My heavy jacket is weighing me down. I'm going under. Disasters happen. So on these earthly planets, there's good and bad things that are going on. Heavenly planets, there's higher things. We're only using these words heavenly and hellish planets because they're Christian words. But there's higher planets, medium planets, lower planets. That's understandable. And the wheel of life goes on and on again until we get a little wise and stop playing the game, until we walk out of the casino and we realize, I don't even have to be here.
The game. Okay, So let's talk more about that next chapter, Raghunath, okay? Because this chapter, there's 15 verses. This chapter, short chapter.
All right, let's see if we can transcendentally burn through this.
But I want to share this first. It's called the Glories of Ananta. So Ananta literally means like unending. There's no end, right? Sometimes this Lord Ananta is called Ananta because it's said that it's like this snake figure with many heads, that if every mouth of this snake is glorifying Lord Vishnu, like unlimitedly.
He's not an ordinary snake, BTW. He is a transcendental. He's a good snake. There are snake planets of evil beings, snake-like reptilians, but there are 3 good snakes.
Good snakes. Okay, but not only that, the character of Ananta is very. It's like, you know, we say Narayan Rishi. We can't figure if it's 1 people, is it 2 people, who is it?
Hard to understand.
Ananta. I mean, even just this morning, I was just trying to pull out information. You know, even in this chapter, sometimes Ananta is being described with a snake body and sometimes with a human body. And the description of the human body is exactly like Balaram, right? Krishna's brother, who expands to support Krishna's pastimes and so on. And so we hear Balaram is Ananta. Sankarshana is another name for Balaram, who is Ananta. Sankarshana comes from Ananta. Ananta appears to be the supreme. Ananta is a Shaktavesha avatar. Ananta is a devotee. I need help.
It's not supposed to be that easily understandable.
Some
It's like
things
if
are
I bust
mysterious,
open this computer, I'm not going to understand what's going on. All I understand is on Zoom, your face appears. So we understand the basics from what we can perceive because we're like little moths trying to figure out and speculate about the world. It's beyond our conception to try to understand. So we hear little clues of what's going on. Now, it's also said that Patanjali, right, is an incarnation of Ananta. They always show pictures of Patanjali with a half human, half snake body. Ever see those little statues?
Yeah.
So anyway, here we are. Here we are.
Here we go. Text 1. The glories of Lord Ananta.
We're trying to figure out what is beyond our little brains figuring out. So
there are people that could explain this. It's just not either of us. It's neither of your podcast hosts this today.
Well, I think we're explaining it pretty damn good, which is it's beyond explanation.
Well, my point is there are people that can explain it
better.
Yeah, it's beyond our explanations.
Yes.
Okay, let's go.
Sri Sukadeva Goswami said to Maharaj Pariksit, here's the original narrators here.
Yeah.
My dear king, approximately 240,000 miles. I love how the translators actually did the
math.
They did the math. The conversions into miles.
Yeah. They converted it.
240,000 miles beneath the planet Patala. What?
Patala, yeah.
Okay, so Patala is like the lowest planet. My dear king, 240,000 miles.
Well, this is supporting this is supporting all the planets. He's underneath, holding them all up.
Okay. Lives another incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the expansion of Lord Vishnu, known as Lord Ananta or Lord Shankarshan. He is always
it always cracks me up.
What?
This is going back decades, because whenever you say Sankarshana, right? Sankarshana, but you always say with an SH to the beginning, like Shankarshan. And whenever it always reminds me of Scooby-Doo.
You gonna say
Shankarshan?
Are you gonna like Sanskrit school me right now?
I'm not a Sanskrit scholar, but because we knew a devotee named.
I want the world to know that you're not either.
I'm not expert at all, but whenever you say, because there's a devotee that we know named, and you'd always say Shankarshan.
Shankarshan. Oh yeah, we know a devotee named Shankarshan.
Okay.
He is always Continuing on.
Yeah.
He is always in the transcendental position, but because he is worshipped by Lord Shiva, the deity of tamaguna, darkness, he is sometimes called Tamasi.
Yeah, Tamasi. I mean the tamaguna, the darker mode, right? Tamasi.
Yeah. Lord Ananta is the predominating deity of the material mode of ignorance.
You see,
as
because
well
we're going
as false ego of the conditioned souls.
Okay, so this is important stuff here, right?
He is a transcendental being, but he's in a snake form, and the snakes are all demonic dark beings.
Well, but what we're going to read about in this, when we're talking about the mode of ignorance, right? The mode of goodness is the mode of maintenance. The mode of passion is the mode of creation, right? So mode of passion for creation, mode of goodness for maintenance, and mode of ignorance or tamaguna for destruction. So when it comes time for the destruction of the universe, Ananta is going to play a role, because we'll hear that from Ananta comes the Rudras, or forms of Lord Shiva that destroy the universe. So the universe is going through these cycles, right?
You know, this whole idea of serpent worship, dragon worship.
I don't know if you listened to anything I just said, but I know you were excited about serpents. So go ahead.
I did. He has to do with all the Rudras come from his jewel.
Okay.
But this is a real thing. Serpent worship, dragon worship is a real thing. There's I don't know if it's Ananta, but this idea of beings that are dragon-like are connected with the ancient worlds.
Well, yeah, it just as the lotus grows from the navel of Lord Vishnu, right?
Yeah.
And Brahma is born on that, and Brahma is like, he's the god for the mode of passion, right? Creation.
Okay.
So similarly, when the Lord desires to create, he does it through the mode of passion. Similarly, when it's time to destroy in the cycle, then Rudra, composed of the mode of ignorance of tamaguna, appears from the brow of Ananta, right? And begins the destruction.
Very interesting.
Yeah. And then also it's mentioned that as Lord Ananta is the predominating deity of the material mode of ignorance, as well as the false ego of all conditioned souls. We're
about to read that.
Yeah, Hankara. Okay.
Because I
yeah, this is great. Yeah, you go ahead.
When a conditioned living, and then I'm sorry, back that up.
Yeah, right there.
Is sometimes called tamasi. Lord Ananta is the predominating deity of the material mode of ignorance, as well as the false ego of all conditioned souls. When a conditioned living being thinks, "I am the enjoyer,"
which is basically what we all do. It's like,
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I am the enjoyer, and this world is meant to be enjoyed by me. This conception of life is dictated to him by Shankarshana.
Dictated. In other words, again, we talk about how the turtles on the beach, someone's dictating to them, run for it, run for the water, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's showing, nobody's, externally, nobody's giving them that instruction. We don't see some other turtle leading the way for them, or no, they just bust out and they're like, run.
So what they're saying, this concept of this world is mine, grab it by the horns, go for the gusto.
Yeah, I mean that's like a
corrected by.
Yeah, but like even the way that you're characterizing it right there, it's not even like that's, let's say, a very explicit demonstration of it or something. But really, all of us are in this world because we have this, because we're thinking, I want to enjoy separately from God. I want a material realm to enjoy through senses. Okay, here's the senses. Here's the material realm, just like a virtual reality. You got all your equipment now, and I'm going to instruct you, okay, this body, this is you. This house, this is yours. These objects of sense, it's coming from within, and it's coming from this Sankarsana. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he writes about this. He says, the Lord is called Sankarsana. Sun means together, right? Karshana. We need someone to look that up. I think may have something to do with
Chandra now. It says put on the board and
get the Karshana down. So the Lord is called Sankarsana because he draws the enjoyer and the object of enjoyment completely together, right? This attraction is characterized by the false identity of I am the enjoyer and this is my object of enjoyment. The devotees meditate upon Sankarsana as the presiding deity of Ahankara, the false ego, in order to become purified of the false conception of I and mine. Okay. I can look up Karshana. Let me see if I can find that. Okay. And you want to, there's one more sentence to this.
There's one more sentence. Okay. Thus, the mundane conditioned soul thinks himself to be the supreme Lord. That's the big illusion. I am the center, not God. Text 2. This great universe, situated on one of Lord Ananta Dev's thousands of hoods, appears just like a white mustard seed.
Little
It is
tiny seed.
infinitesimal compared to the hood of Lord Ananta. So this is one universe with its Lord Brahma, with its Lord Vishnu, with its Ganesh, all these great demigods, is in one tiny, with all the higher planets, middle planets, lower planets. It's in a mustard seed. And then there's millions of other mustard seeds.
Yeah, tiny. By the way, so Karshana here, I'm getting different definitions. One of them is pulling, right? So Sung Karshana, pulling together. So pulling together the self with the objects of the sense enjoyment, or the senses with the objects of the senses.
Okay. Text 3. At that time of devastation, when Lord Anantadev desires to destroy the entire creation, he becomes slightly angry. Then from between his two eyebrows appears three-eyed Rudra carrying a trident. This Rudra is known as Shankarshana. And he is the embodiment of the 11 Rudras.
Shankarshan.
It does sound like Scooby-Doo.
Shankarshan.
Shankarshan.
Okay.
Or incarnations of Lord Shiva. So the Rudras are incarnations of Lord Shiva.
I remember
He appears in order to devastate the entire creation.
John Choso, he always had that tattoo, one of those Rudras on his arm. You remember that? Anyway, I remember that.
I remember.
Yeah, it was. It's like,
The
what is
pink-
that tattoo? It's one of the Rudras. Okay, what does that mean?
The pink transparent toenails on the Lord's lotus feet are exactly like valuable gems polished to a mirror finish.
Wow.
When the unalloyed devotees and the leaders of the snakes, interesting, they actually have a
Leaders.
hierarchy. The snake people have a hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
I want to dig into snake.
I know you do.
I want to dig into snake culture. When the unalloyed devotees and the leaders of the snakes offer their obeisances to Lord Shankarshan with great devotion, they become very joyful upon seeing their own beautiful faces reflected in his toenails. Their
Just a little
cheeks
detail.
are decorated with glittering earrings. Wait a second. The cheeks of the snakes?
Apparently. See, and they may be like half snake, half human too. It's
Yeah,
like-
when we talk about snake, when we talk about dragons, it's like this is the best we can come up with because we've seen snakes, so we think, oh, they must be snake people. They're just reptilian people, which conspiracy theorists have talked about for a long time.
Okay,
by
so
the
it's got to
way.
be true. Okay.
Well, all I'm saying is the Bhagavatam's saying it.
All right.
I never ran with the reptilian conspiracy theories, but it seems like it might have some place in reality.
Well, you see, when we get to the text 5 here, now we're hearing about Lord Ananta, but it seems he's got a human form,
Mhm.
and a human form that is very much like Lord Balaram.
There we go. Their cheeks are, well, anyway, back to snakes with earrings. Their cheeks are decorated with glittering earrings, and the beauty of their face is extremely pleasing to see. Lord Ananta's arms are attractively long,
It's a snake with
beautifully
arms. you see.
decorated with bangles.
With bagels. All right.
He's from New York.
Start again.
Lord Ananta's arms are attractively long, beautifully decorated with bangles, and completely spiritual. They are white, and so they appear like silver columns. So yeah, they are snake humans, snake-like humans. When the beautiful princesses of the Serpent Kings, they're Serpent Kings, hoping for the Lord's auspicious blessings, smear his arms with the pulp of aguru pulp. That's, if you're familiar with the oud incense, that's another word for oud, is aguru.
Mhm. What's the source of that fragrance?
I think aguru is made from a fungus growing on a
Where is it?
tree. I'm serious, in a swamp in northern
Oh.
India.
So can
You
make
know
a
how I
pulp
know
out of
that?
it.
I met a professional oud collector
Ah.
in the hotel of the Four Seasons in Mumbai, and he started talking all about how
Look at
they
you
get
rubbing
oud.
elbows at the Four Seasons over there, sipping some tea.
He told me all about oud. I guess oud might be the Persian name for a guru.
When I was in Mumbai, I held in my hand the actual musk, the source of the musk.
How did you do that? Musk is illegal.
I can't give details.
I've had real musk too. It's
Yes, the
been banned since
gland.
1936. They said.
Okay. Let's continue.
All right. So, hoping the Lord's auspicious blessing, they smear his arms with a guru pulp, sandalwood pulp, and kumkum. The touch of his limbs awakens lusty desires within them.
These are spiritual lusty desires, though. These are.
Yeah.
It's a desire.
I mean, they're kings. They're serpent kings. Whoever these reptilian beings are, their Lord has come, Lord Ananta, and that now they're having some spiritual epiphany with their God.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a God just for them. Isn't that
and
great?
their desire for him is a desire to please him.
Yeah,
that's the primary motive.
Yeah. And of course, these are like, because they're
But
the
it's blended
kings,
with
they're
their
the most spiritual. My only question is, I thought the snake people, the reptilian people, were not spiritual. This is confusing me a little. I thought they were like,
there's all varieties.
yeah. I shouldn't be racist towards snake people.
Yeah.
Just, they're all the same. Those
Over here, right here, how they're good devotees.
Don't be prejudiced against snake people.
Okay.
That's a good takeaway. Understanding their minds, the Lord looks at the princesses with a merciful smile, and they become bashful, realizing that he knows their desires. Well, maybe it is lust.
But their lust. I mean, you can call it lust, but it's not the lust that we have here. They want to touch him and everything like that, but their primary motive is love, that they want to serve him.
These are pure snake beings we're talking about. Yes. Apologies if this is a very confusing show today.
I think sorry. Let's see. We can read. Let's read a little from the commentary here. You ready?
Yeah, go.
When males and females touch each other's bodies, their lusty desires naturally awaken. It appears from this verse that there are similar sensations in spiritual bodies. Both Lord Ananta, both Lord Ananta and the women giving him pleasure had spiritual bodies. Thus, all sensations originally exist in the spiritual body. Boom. That's a takeaway right there, right? You think about this and it helps you clarify everything. All sensations originally exist in the spiritual body. These are imitation virtual reality bodies. So whatever we got here is a reflection. It's a facsimile of what exists in the spiritual body. Okay, so thus all sensations originally exist in the spiritual body. This is confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra, Janmadyasya Yataha, that the absolute truth is that from which everything emanates. It's the origin, and then everything is kind of based on that origin. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, important commentator on Bhagavatam, has commented in this connection that the word adi means adi rasa, the original lusty feeling.
Okay.
Which is born from the Supreme. However, spiritual lust and material lust are completely different as gold and iron. Only one who is very highly elevated in spiritual realization can understand the lusty feelings exchanged between Radha and Krishna, or between Krishna and the damsels of Vraja. Therefore, unless one is very experienced and advanced in spiritual realization, they are forbidden to discuss the lusty feelings of Krishna and the gopis. It's a powerful statement right there, right? You don't.
Very good.
You approach this with a certain respect. You
can't understand this stuff just by reading.
Yeah,
just by reading some book. You need your teachers to feed it to you.
They help you understand it. Yeah. However, if one is a sincere and pure devotee, the material lust in their heart is completely vanquished as they discuss the lusty feelings between the gopis and Krishna, and they make quick progress in spiritual life. So it sounds like these are two contradictory statements. One is, if you're lusty, you can't hear them. Two, they cure you of lust. So it's so I think what you said, Raghunath, is the really important thing, is that you need someone who understands this deeply to guide you into how to hear it with the right attitude. what else you need to hear to help you understand it,
Right.
so that you approach this very most sacred topic with the right attitude. That's the important thing.
That's a takeaway. Raghunath says important things. Okay. Nityananda Chandra says, Nityananda Chandra says something interesting.
What
He
does he
says, Padma Purana says that some snakes are pious. Read the story of the birth of Garuda, and you'll hear about certain pious nagas.
Yeah. But Mahabharata also has a lot of that.
Right.
Stuff.
There's the Jiu-Jitsu Naga tournament. I wonder where they got that from. Okay.
All right. I think there was just like we hadn't quite finished this verse, so then we can wrap.
Oh,
it
yeah.
Understanding their minds.
Understanding their minds, the Lord looks at the princesses with a merciful smile, and they become bashful, realizing that he knows their desires.
There's something incredibly deep in that rasa right there.
Yeah.
The deepest satisfaction. Okay.
Then they smile beautifully and look upon the Lord's lotus face, which is beautified by reddish eyes, rolling slightly from intoxication and delighted by love for his devotees.
That sounds a lot like Balaram right there. Right?
I mean, we get attracted to Radha and Krishna, and we understand them in their human form. Do you think we'd have that same love if we saw the snake deity?
Well, again,
do you think we'd be like, "You're beautiful"?
I
we'd be like, "You're snakes."
In the translation from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his commentary, there was a note, like an asterisk, and so I don't know if that means that's coming from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, coming from the translator, but what the asterisk said was, it appears that Ananta has two bodies, right? A snake body and a human body. So I don't know if it's just an in-between body or what, but you know, we hear Arjuna, wasn't it Arjuna who was I don't know if it's seduced is the right word, but you know, who basically married a woman coming from the snake.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Right. What's her name? Ulupi? Was that Ulupi?
Ulupi.
And
of course, Bhima married the.
So we can imagine that she didn't when she's getting together with Arjuna, it has to be in a human form, right?
Yeah, she was probably a shapeshifter.
Probably a shapeshifter. And so maybe not to shifting shapes too.
Yeah, and also let's face it, it's like if you were.
Let's face it. Maybe we shouldn't face him around.
Well,
Maybe we should just end here.
If you were in a boat and all of a sudden a beautiful woman appears out of the water, you're like, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful," and then you realize it's a mermaid. It's not. It's weird. It's like, am I falling in love with a fish? Falling in love with a human? You don't know how to deal with that. It's important that
you brought this up.
Could you fall in love with a mermaid?
Apparently, they did.
Yes.
Okay.
I bet there's real mermaids too. I bet that's part of the whole thing too. Maybe the mermaids are Nagas. That makes sense.
Yeah, maybe they're Naga
Maybe
women.
the mermaids are Nagas.
That's the way that the wives of Kaliya, the Naga Patnis, are often depicted
as mermaids, right?
Well, it's snake bottomed and human topped. Like they got a snake body, but they're wearing a sari. They got arms.
Why is Mara such a good swimmer? All right.
Okay, we're done. We're done.
All right, done. Oh, that's it. We're actually done. I thought you meant we're done. Like, please stop talking about mermaids.
Both.
Wow, we're actually done with this. That was pretty interesting, I will say. Shape-shifting mermaids, Nagas, snake planets, snake gods.
Kelly Skinner has been known to be a mermaid.
You know what? She is a mermaid. Maybe she was a Naga. Previous life. Okay. Jim Wood says, autobiography of a yogi claims that mermaids are real on astral planets.
Okay.
All right.
Takeaways. We're all whistling in the dark until we hear Krishna's flute.
Oh, put those together.
Like that little addition.
Yeah.
We're little moths trying to speculate about the world.
Yeah.
Little.
Brahma creates and Rudra destroys.
Rudra wrecks.
Ananta is lord of the false ego, tamaguna, and destruction.
Okay.
We're all here because we're trying to enjoy separately from God.
True.
We deserve cake, but we settle for crumbs.
All sensations originally exist in the spiritual body.
That's a big one right there.
That's a big one.
Yeah. We need teachers to approach sacred topics with the right attitude.
Big lesson right there.
Big lesson.
We consider Radha and Krishna's Leela, Krishna, the Gopi Leela, as the most sacred topic, but we have to approach it the right attitude. Krishna book is good for that. Prabhupada lays it out there, right?
Yeah. That's why he did it. And that's why I did the Krishna book
Yeah.
first, because people get the wrong ideas. They
Mm.
start thinking like, you know, the Naga queens wear bagels instead of bangles. They're not going to understand the depth.
Yes.
I don't know. I think that. And
Yeah.
don't be prejudiced against the snake people.
Never.
Snakes are people too. Wackadoo, wackadoo. Thanks everybody for joining us. Woo! Sorry for my.
Speaking of wackadoo. Organized can be a little wackadoo sometimes.
For joining us today. Interesting show. This stuff's all real. You might say, oh, your conspiracy theory's wrong. This stuff's real. Bhagavatam says it right here. Snake people are real. Ship shifting. That's when ships shape.
Ship shape.
Ship shape.
You know, Martine's bringing the dancing back here.
Thank you, Martine. Keeping it real. You're dancing like a Naga today. That's what I think.
That's a Naga dance.
Put some bagels on your wrists and dance. I'll never forget that. Every time somebody says something about a bangle, I'm going to think of a bagel. Thanks, everybody, for joining us today.